Remember, and this meeting is being recorded. Welcome to the 2025 annual membership meeting of the Women of Peace Corps Legacy. I'm Letitia Pledger, your moderator for tonight. Thank you for joining us as we reflect on our achievements, share upcoming opportunities, and discuss how you can get involved. We have an exciting program lined up, and we're thrilled to have you here. And so, without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker, Jody Olsen, who's also the co-chair, one of the co-chairs for Women of Peace Corps Legacy. Co-presidents, I'm sorry. Jody.
Hi, thank you, Letitia. And let me begin by saying thank you to every woman here this evening, every woman who has made a commitment somewhere to Peace Corps. We have 6 decades where we have made contributions overseas and here at home. So Women of Peace Corps Legacy's mission is to advance women and girls' empowerment for a better, just, equitable, and safe world. We work with and through women whose own Peace Corps volunteer or staff experiences, whether recent or distant, support these commitments. So what do? We share a quarterly newsletter among over 800 members to highlight our activities, upcoming events, and NGO serving women and girls. We have Women in Peace Corps membership is free, and we encourage you to join by signing up on our website. It's right there on the homepage. Just push the button. We select and honor 2 women leaders each year. The Deborah Harding Leadership Achievement Award is given for lifetime service on behalf of women and girls. The Kate Rafferty Emerging Leaders Award is given to a leader under 40 serving women and girls. Your opportunity to nominate a woman leader begins in 3 days on February 15th. Check out the website. We create and support a bi-monthly 30-minute podcast featuring women leaders who share their Peace Corps experiences and current careers in service to others. Our 12 podcasts so far can be found on our website and on Spotify and Buzzsprout. In 18 months, we have had well over 1,500 unique downloads representing 43 countries. Download and listen. You'll love it. We sponsor a mentoring program that brings together for 3 months each spring about 30 Peace Corps staff and mentors within our membership. We share advice and suggestions on professional and educational opportunities while managing our complex daily lives. Our new program for this spring begins on February 27th. And we feature at least 2 virtual programs on Zoom each year, which are recorded and then accessed through the website. We have an in-person program at the Peace Corps headquarters each year and an in-person networking get-together in May at Wondergarten, just a block from the Peace Corps headquarters, which is always fun, particularly when it doesn't rain. We're also looking to initiate about 4 virtual conversations among members each year at noon or in the early evening to give opportunity for members to support each other. We have wonderful donors who contribute, help keep our programming, awards, and intern support strong. Thank you. We have fully endowed the Deborah Harding and Kate Rafferty Leadership Awards, which enables us to continue recognizing the outstanding women leaders each year. And this year, we have already begun supporting the Peace Corps Lorette Rupee Gender Development Fund. We believe our overarching goal to uplift women and girls is fully aligned with the work of the Rupee Fund for Peace Corps volunteers working on projects that empower women at the community level. So that's who we are. Excitedly, we work hard. We've been doing it for 11 years now. I want to turn it to my co-president, Kim Murphy. She is a Sri Lankan RPCV, retired long-term serving Foreign Service officer, and now a coach and trainer, as well as helping lead Women of Peace Corps Legacy. Kim.
Thank you very much, Jody. I am so pleased to be here tonight with you all. And thank you, Jody, also for giving such a splendidly succinct overview of all of the committees. Um, as you can see here on this slide, we have 6 committees, really 5 committees and a subcommittee. As well as an advisory council, which is made up of 4 officers, the 2 co-presidents, treasurer, and another officer. So we are pretty lean and efficient, and we divide the work up amongst these very subject matter oriented committees. And it is my pleasure to be able to introduce the different committee co-chairs so that they can tell you a little bit more about what they do throughout the year. And we hope that as you're listening to this, you'll find something that you're interested in and contact us to be a part of the work that we do. So first of all, I would like to introduce Pam Martin, and she will talk to us. She's one of the co-chairs for the awards committee. Hi, Pam.
Thanks, Kim. Yes, as Kim said, I'm Pamela Martin. My co-chair is Sue Malik, and we lead the awards committee. Now, our main task is leading the organization in our award process each year. And as Jody already mentioned, we have 2 big awards, the Deborah Harding Woman of Achievement Award and the Kate Raftery Emerging Leader Award. And both recognize a woman who has made or is making a significant impact in the lives of women and girls. And the difference between them is that the Kate Raftery Award recognizes an emerging leader under the age of 40. And the Deborah Harding Award is really kind of a lifetime achievement award for someone with more experience under her belt. So as for our work, there's a seasonal rhythm to it. You can see here in the last 2 bullets there that our nominations open February 15th. That's this Saturday. So please start thinking now about that amazing colleague or friend that you are going to nominate for one of those awards. The awards close on May 15th. So February 15th through May 15th. Then the winners are announced at the National Peace Corps Association Connect, which is at the end of July. And then our winners are celebrated at an event we hold on the International Day of the Girl Child in October. That's called Women and Girls Win, and it'll be on October 9th. So as for our particular goals this year, they're captured there in the first 2 bullets. The first one is that we really wanted to grow the recognition of our awards, kind of create more buzz, which would create more nominations and ultimately more recognition for these amazing women. And the second thing we wanted to do was to do a better job of tapping into the talent and energy of all the winners, including past winners, and all the nominees that have come to our attention through the awards process. So we have 2 winners each year, but there are so many nominated people that are just, they're really they're wonderful, they're amazing, and we'd like to tap that talent and energy as well. So overall, it really is an interesting committee, a fun committee. It is inspiring to learn through the nomination process about these amazing women and the impressive work that they do to advance women and girls throughout the world. And it's really satisfying to be able to recognize and amplify both them and the work that they do for the wider world to appreciate. So thank you. That's a little bit about the awards committee.
Thank you so much, Pam. And audience, you might notice as the various committee co-chairs are talking, our producers are popping in the links that are relevant to what the committee is talking about, if there are relevant links. So keep your eye out for any links, but everything can be found on the WPCL website. And next, I would like to introduce our mentoring committee co-chairs. Tonight, Carol Barrick will be speaking on behalf of the mentoring committee. Hi, Carol, welcome.
Hi, welcome, and thank you all who are involved. Mentors, mentees, potential mentees, potential members, collaborators. So the mentoring committee, we are welcoming this year a new co-chair, Ashley Farringer, who is an RPCV in Guatemala and has multiple talents, is currently working at University of Maryland. And she's a coach and trainer. So we're very excited to have her aboard. And we want to send a huge thank you to Tristina Conca, who was our outreach liaison person and did an amazing job. She's now headed off to Australia for graduate work. And she has left us with 3 people to work with us in continuing outreach to mentees, Lauren Willie, Trina Van Schneidel, and Charisse Bunn. They are new outreach to mentees, and they have been working with me and Ashley closely to recruit and begin the matching process and sending out the matches for mentors and mentees for this year. So that should be coming out this weekend or early next week. And our goal for the committee is to both double the mentoring program from 15 mentees, which we have this year, to 30 by the year 2029, and hopefully even sooner. Our 2024 program, we were able to expand to 22 mentees and 22 mentors. And we currently have 24 mentors actively working with us for this year. So we even have more mentor than mentees. So we welcome more mentees to come and work with us. And we are continuing an effort that we began last year to expand the Women of Peace Corps Legacy mentor pool to meet diverse needs of our mentees in their personal and professional development, in their career networking, and we also are seeking to collaborate further with other organizations that advance women and girls. Any ideas, suggestions, concerns, or questions, we welcome to continue expanding, diversifying, and amplifying our mentor program. And we, as I said, will be sending those matches out very shortly. And our opening ceremony, which we hope that you will be able to join us for, will be on Thursday, February 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So whether or not you're a mentor or mentee this year, you're welcome to join us. So it'll be an opportunity for us to see the wider pool of resources that we have, and for mentors and mentees to begin their process of working together. And the commitment that we're asking from mentors and mentees is to work together for about a 3-month period from March to end of May, when we have our closing ceremony. 45 minutes to an hour sessions 4 to 5, ideally 5 sessions during that time. And it's completely up to the mentors and mentees to schedule the pacing, timing, doing it virtually, or if they choose in person. So again, thank you to all of you who have served and or serving as mentors and mentees. We learn as much from the mentees as the mentors are able to share. So thank you all for your service to Peace Corps and to others, and your continued service. So it's a very exciting thing to be a part of.
Thank you, Carol. I would next like to introduce the fundraising committee, a very important committee for nonprofit organizations such as Women of Peace Corps Legacy. And it's a very small committee headed by one chair, and that is Susan Olsen. And welcome, Susan. Nice to see you tonight. Can you hit your mute? Yeah. There you go. Got, oh, one more.
You're muted again.
I don't know why it keeps muting.
There, you're good. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Okay. So again, welcome. And let me start by thanking all of our donors whose contributions over the years have made it possible for us to accomplish all that we have over the past 11 years. As Jody mentioned in her overview, we are so thrilled to have been able to fully endow the 2 awards, which allow us to continue recognizing the outstanding work of 2 women leaders from our community each year. And one of our other accomplishments was that we have also updated our website and donation page that makes it a lot easier to give directly online to support our efforts for women and girls. And last year we raised about $11,500. And going forward, we're hoping to raise as much as $15,000 over the next each year over the next 5 years. And that will give us more room to be able to support the good works like Jody had mentioned, the Lorette Rupee Gender Development Fund and other work that the Peace Corps volunteers are doing in the field to support women and girls. So we're hoping to launch a fundraising campaign to coincide with International Women's Day next month on March 8th, as well as our traditional year-end fundraiser. So that's just a quick update from me. Thank you all again for your generosity, and please check out the website and check out our page. We'd really be grateful for anything that you can contribute.
Thank you, Susan. And very closely related to that, we have a treasurer, as I mentioned earlier. And our treasurer is Erin Gibbs. She was not able to join us tonight, so I just wanted, on her behalf, to take a minute to share with you an overview of our financials. And as is required in our bylaws, we share this with our members once a year, and upon request as well. So in 2024, you can see we had a total income of just over 14,500 on the upper column on the left, and we had total expenses of just under 9,000. And that left a net income for the year of just under 6,000. Our expenses are the awards that were mentioned earlier, as well as a variety of operating expenses, such as the intern stipend. We do have an intern with us most of the year, and you will meet her shortly. Also, we have expenses such as National Peace Corps Association, affiliate organization dues, Zoom, other software, a PO box, and other expenses in order to keep us operating. And then on the right side of the spreadsheet, you can see the overall balance of assets. And as I mentioned, this can be available upon request to any member at any time. And with that, I would like to continue introducing our committee chairs. And next, I would like to introduce Michelle Sullivan, who heads our all-new communications committee. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, excuse me. Thank you so much. Yes, as was mentioned, I am the co-chair of the Communications Committee alongside our wonderful intern, Laura. And we are a bit of a new committee this year. So we're still getting our bearings a little bit, but everyone has been incredibly supportive, which is ironic because our main goal is to be as supportive as we can in terms of communications and publicity for all of the other committees. So I kind of said that our goals are all of the long-term goals, just because our goal is to support all of the committees. And through that work, they support every single one of our long-term goals. So our main focus is supporting our committees through drafting, refining, and distributing anything to do with communications. So that can look like flyers, that can look like informing people about upcoming events, anything like that. We're also here to support promotion of those events. So we work through our social media, our website, and all of those fun emails that you get from us, just to make sure that everybody is aware of all of the incredible events and has the opportunity to attend as many as possible. Pardon me. And we are also just beginning a new test run here where every committee has been wonderful and has spoken with us about assigning a liaison for each committee so that we can just make sure that we are connecting with them and making sure that every committee has the communication support that they require. So our job is basically to just support and communicate all of the incredible work that all of the other committees are doing so that everybody is aware of all of the amazing work done by the Women of Peace Corps Legacy.
Thank you, Michelle. And it has become quickly apparent that the Communications Committee is really the glue that we didn't know we were missing in holding us all together. And equally important in holding all the committees together and supporting all the different activities, as well as activities of their own, we have the Outreach and Events Committee. And they have organized this event tonight, for instance. And Letitia Pledger, our moderator and host for tonight, will tell us a little bit. She's one of the co-chairs, and she will tell us a little bit about what they are working on.
Thanks, Kim.
Hi, Letitia.
Thank you. So yeah, just a little bit about some of our goals for this year. We try to basically have our program and our activities in 4 pillars. And one of the biggest ones that we want to definitely hone in on this year is deepening our relationship between intergenerational members. I'm a benefactor of that. When I first started, I know that was one of the goals. Well, first started with this organization a couple years ago. That was one of the goals, and we are trying to broaden that as well. We definitely want to continue to broaden our membership of people with diverse backgrounds. That can be age, that can be location, that can be pay grade, anything. Just we would like to have a little bit more diversity in our membership because that's how organizations flourish. And we also would like to, by 2029, we would like for some of our commonly recognized organizations for the Peace Corps community to be a little bit more widespread, whether it's domestic and international women's groups. And we are really excited to launch or relaunch some of our in-person meet and greets. Obviously, everyone is not in the DMV area, so we also are thinking about how we can do social events hybrid as well. So I'll talk a little bit more of that at the end of our presentation today. All right, well, now let's talk about some of our expiring podcast series. Corey, without further ado. You're muted, Corey.
There I go. How's that? Works. Okay, cool. All right. So Jody already explained what a great thing we've got here. In a minute, I'm going to show you the reach, but I just right now want to have a shout out to Lee Lacey, Marianne Minotillo, and Hannah Lito. Hannah is our producer. Lee and Marianne and myself are the interviewers. We do this we do it every other month as a way to get in 6 podcasts per year. They are about 32 minutes, 35 minutes length. And the goal, as Jody mentioned, is we find women leaders, successful women leaders who got their start as a Peace Corps volunteer. And then we interview them about their journey. How did they go? How did Peace Corps inspire them to become the person that they are, the leader that they are, and what did they take away from their Peace Corps experiences? They went up the ladder to hold rather substantial leadership positions. Mostly we are interviewing people who are leaders of organizations that support women and girls globally. Not all, but many of them are. So I really invite you to go on our website. Hannah in a minute is going to put the link in Spotify, Apple Play, all these different places. And then I want to just mention right now that at the end of our meeting, the very end, we'll say goodbye. And then at the end of the meeting, please stay on for 4 minutes and see a video that we made, which it highlights each of the 12 women that we have interviewed, where they served, and then a quote that we took that we thought really succinctly stated who they were. So that's at the very end. Hang on, hope you'll see it, and you'll understand better what the podcast is about. To our surprise, in 2 years' time, not even, we started 2 years ago, April, we have had 1,562 downloads in 43 countries. So we have watched this just take off. We've been so proud of it, and we so appreciate honoring women who are supporting women and girls and who can absolutely push back, go back to their Peace Corps experience, changing their life personally and professionally. So I think you'll enjoy them. We certainly have gotten a lot of good reviews about it. And that's it. And please stay on after the event. That's it for me on podcasts. All right. So Corey here, hanging on. It is now my honor. In the next couple minutes, I will be interviewing Jody Olsen. She is our co-president, one of the founding mothers of Women of Peace Corps Legacy, and of course, as you all know, former director of the Peace Corps. And just to note, I want to make sure everybody knows this. We'll be talking to Jody primarily about leadership. I'm going to comment on that in just a second, but we will have a whole 32-minute podcast with Jody sometime within probably the next 6 weeks. So hang on for that, because this is just a teaser of how wonderful the podcast is going to be. And then before Jody and I talk, and we have this slide up here, I need to say what a joy it was to read Jody's memoir, A Million Miles, My Peace Corps Journey. And I'm saying this very honestly and very humbly. It is one of the best memoirs I've read. It's so well written. It's honest. It's a page turner, because Jody talked very deeply about her Peace Corps experience, who she was growing up, and then what we're going to focus on tonight, all of the leadership challenge she had once she became a leader in her own right. And I'll quickly say I experienced some of Jody's leadership accomplishments and she writes about this extensively in the book, when we had to evacuate 6 countries before the Gulf War. That's a big effort. And then with the opening of the former Soviet Union, many countries in places that had no idea what a volunteer was, let alone having any banks. And so Jody writes extensively about the challenge that it was to open the former Soviet Union. I was a part of that. So I just want to mention that, as I just said, our leadership discussion is going to focus on female leadership and dealing with the challenges posed during a time of change. And a time of change is what we are going through now, as we all know. And at a time like this, we look for those who demonstrate strong but thoughtful leadership to help both guide and support those that are under them. And Jody, I am excited to get started to talk about how you did this as a leader. We'll wrap back in a couple of minutes about your book, but what we really want to focus on is leadership in a time of change and challenge, because that's what we're going through right now. So Jody, I think probably, and you write about this beautifully in your book, probably one of the biggest challenges, in my opinion, that you were so successful in is you led the Peace Corps through the most difficult, I would say the most difficult moment in history, where you had to bring 7,000 Peace Corps volunteers, more than 7,000, back to the States in a very limited time and very challenging circumstances. COVID, China. How did you do that? What do you think contributed to your success of evacuating the volunteers? And then also important, ensuring that staff around the world felt supported. So both of those, if you could comment on those.
Sure. Thank you, Corey. And thank you. And thank you for your words about the book. I really appreciate it. What happened during that time when we had to evacuate 7,000 volunteers, and what made it successful? It was an agency success. And that's the piece I really want to emphasize. There's such a thing as leadership, but it's really an agency success. Why? We had established over 60 years trust, respect across countries and communities, and always willing to be in those communities so that when an emergency happened like this one, everyone said, we're here for you because you've been here for us for 60 years. And it was a lesson to me that we build for emergencies in all the good work we do year in and year out. And that's what this demonstrated. It's who we have been for 60 years. Second, as you all know, we do a lot of safety and security training. So it's about preparation. It's about testing ourselves and knowing that we can handle an emergency. And volunteers, staff, counterparts, everyone did that training, and boy, did it pay off. And also, as you mentioned, another real success was the support of the host country staff. They gave and gave and gave. And we then were there to say, you're going to stay. Nobody's being laid off, because we know you're part of the Peace Corps family. And we know that we're coming back. And that set a whole nother tone. I also want to say the success was related to the volunteers themselves. All the volunteers, there's probably a few that are even here tonight, were fantastic. Angry, sad, all those things that happen, but everyone did exactly what you should do as a leader, individual leader. Well, my own role, I feel like I did play some role in this evacuation. And one, as a leader, you have to make a decision. And I made a decision within an hour that we needed to leave. It was very difficult, but I made it based on the input from countries, country directors, regions, agency leadership, so that never making a decision in a vacuum, but with the information that came in. We also knew, and I knew, we were ahead of everybody else. And so we did not tell anybody outside of Peace Corps because we did not want that decision compromised in any way, and that paid off. Another key part, I think, comes with leadership is delegate, delegate, delegate. And I hoped that when the decision was made and I asked people to do all that they had been trained to do to help with this emergency, that everyone knows that I had their back in the thousands of decisions that everyone was making. Another, for me, critical point of a good leader. And importantly, to build partnerships in the emergency. And interesting with us is that Congress became a really important partner. We gave them all the information that we could give them. And in exchange for all of what we had been trying to give to Congress, they gave us special compensation so that we could bring back volunteers, get them unemployment compensation, et cetera. And so those are key elements, but I want to thank in particularly the individual volunteers who were phenomenal when we were just yanking out their lives and sending them home and send them into quarantine. So that's how I think we made that work.
Jody, I'm interested in your comment about Congress. Do you feel you had support through that whole thing because we have across the aisle support in Congress? And I'm saying this in part because I'm sort of interested with if we still do and what the future might look like for us.
Okay, well, I'm not going to speak for today, but I am going to speak for 5 years ago. A couple of things. One, as we learn in building partnerships, that we always sent good news to congressional people. This is what's happening with your constituents. Thank you. So that when we need them, we've already established a good relationship. Second, when it had to do with the emergency, and this to me was really important, we knew that they were going to hear about it before anybody else. Parents, volunteers themselves, friends are going to be calling them, talking to them, saying, oh my heavens, look what Peace Corps is doing. They're yanking my kid out of this country. What are they doing that for? We started sending talking points to them early Monday morning. We made the decision Sunday night. And so when the mother called, oh my heavens, John is here stuck in South Africa. What do you mean bringing him home? The staff person in the congressman's office said, oh, you know, I just heard from Peace Corps and this is what's happening. And so Congress, I'm going a little far when I say they were our PR agents because they weren't quite that, but they had what they needed to do their job because we gave them that information. And I want to do a quick shout out to Kate Rafferty, who was really the keeper of the talking points that we would do sometimes twice a day. We knew what made a congressman look good. We gave them the information. They then could support us. And what was key was 3 weeks later for the CARES Act that got put through Congress, they gave us legislative authority for unemployment, for NCE, for health benefits, for return benefits that we otherwise would not have been able to get. And so I highlight in leadership, it is about partnership.
Wow, Jody, non-competitive eligibility is NC, but they really did come through. I was so touched to see we had to go through this. You led this really challenging experience, and yet Congress came along behind us to help us, and that meant a lot. And I pray that they will continue to feel that way about us today. All right, so Jody, let me just ask a very related question. What do you feel that people look for in a leader? Either doing conflict or challenging times, because as you write about, you've been through quite a few.
Yeah, I think that's true. Anyway, a leader in a challenging time for me is very important that you define the challenge. What is it? And how do you say it in the words that people can hear and can understand? And you do it without blaming. You need to know the audience as a leader in an emergency. For example, I was very specific about COVID, and related to COVID, country borders were closing, international flights were not coming in. Very clear, this is the emergency. No one's being blamed. We need to act fast. And the specificity of identifying that challenge so people can understand why it's a challenge to them is so, so, so important. Also with leadership at this time is showing how the problem is affecting everyone else. So in our case with COVID, it meant that volunteers could not get out of the country. But how people, because we're asking people to do things. We're asking people to do things and often that they don't want to do because it's a change of some kind. It's an emergency of some kind. And so it's important that those that are needing to help solve this problem or this emergency know that without doing something, it's not going to be good for anyone.
Yeah.
And so the specificity in identifying why. Importantly, do not blame anybody. Whatever it is, we can't get the support we need if we blame. We also need to make decisions quickly. We draw on the information, we draw it as broadly as possible, we know the time frame, and at that point, the decision gets made quickly with as much information as possible, and help them feel that they can manage the challenge. Everyone that's involved, I want to give you advice to helping how you can handle this, that you're up to what we're asking you to do. And we recognize all the good work that you do. And we're behind you when we ask you to do these very difficult things. This is the way a leader should communicate. And help everyone involved in the emergency to define the emergency roles, even if they're not agreeable roles or roles that you've never done before. But a leader must trust everyone, believe in them, and say, I'm supporting you all the way. And finally, stay connected throughout the emergency. I'm with you. I care. You're doing a good job. Keep it up. Do you need more from me? Do I need to be saying more? Stay connected and hold their back and be with them.
Jody, the things that make for inspirational things where people feel heard, included, cared about, is what I know that you did during that really tough 7,000 volunteer removal. And I think the other thing, Jody, when you're speaking just now, I was thinking about how all of our host country nationals, our Peace Corps host country nationals, stayed on the roll. They kept going. They worked on improving their projects. They were able to have different programs that Peace Corps provided for them to help train them throughout that long time that we had when we didn't have volunteers in the field. And I'm sure they felt very appreciated and respected and included from what you just said was important to you.
And they were so important, yes.
Well, wow. I mean, that was another thing I was so proud of that you took the stand to keep the posts open. I have a question that I think probably many of us on this call would love to hear your thoughts on. Are there significant differences in the way that women and men lead? And if so, what are they?
Okay, well, I'm going to grossly generalize when I answer this question, so don't panic here, but this is not the research, Jody. This is the generalization, Jody, giving an answer. But I've been studying and looking at it for a lot of years and have done some research, read research on it over the years, that men are more likely to be single-focused with attention span, and they don't get distracted. Women are more multitasked with attention given to more than one item at a time, thinking of all of us in the family, juggling kids and times and meals and work and such. And you see the real difference. All right, what does that mean? With the leadership style, women are more likely to be transformational leadership. You can tell I have a slight bias here. And where men are more likely to be transactional leaders. And you can see that from us multitasking, men are more likely to single task. Communication style. Women tend to be more democratic and inclusive. You could hear that in how I was describing how I try to be a leader. Men are more risk-taking, making quicker decisions. And then finally, in decision-making, women are a little more risk-averse, and men are it's much easier for men to take risks in decision. So just noting the risk-averse part, I know that for me, as a leader at Peace Corps during that time, because I am a little bit risk averse, but I went, okay, these are the decisions, they have to be made. I'm going to stand up, sit down, do what I need to do. I'm going to make those decisions. So that's just a very quick summary. At another time, I would love to go into a lot more detail about the differences between men and women in leadership.
When we do our podcast with you, Jody, we'll give you time to answer that more fully, which is why it's nice if you have a combination in general of different styles that can then be complete. Okay, Jody, we don't have a lot of time, but and again, I'm going to point out we're going to do a full podcast. This is a teaser, but Jody, what would you tell a 25-year-old you, and now us, about leadership or any other issue that you have dealt with that has made you the person you are?
Okay, the 25-year-old, there I was just coming back from being a Peace Corps volunteer, and I'm thinking, who was I at that moment? Okay, my advice is one, be curious, ask questions. Take risks carefully. Don't sully up a record, but take enough risks. Have a mentor, mentors, ask for ideas. Know that the decisions you make at 25 probably have very little to do with what you're going to be doing at 40. And when you read my book, you discover I'm a perfect example of that, because my life went in many different directions. So at 25, try out work ideas. Don't feel locked in.
All right, Jody, lovely, thank you. And we're going to wrap up with a two-piece question about your memoir, okay? From your standpoint, what do you think are the overall themes that you think are the most important in your book, in your memoir? And what would you like the reader to take away from your book? So two-part question.
Oh, thank you. One is that our personal and professional lives are intertwined. Early personal challenges shape our later professional actions. I learned professional forgiveness and accepting loss because of what happened in my early life. I learned to acknowledge what didn't go well in my early life and drew from those experiences. And we can't separate and shouldn't separate them out, which is why in my book I have both the personal and the professional. A second takeaway very quickly is Peace Corps shapes who we are. We define our transformation through our stories. I probably give too many examples of stories, but these small moments have such a strong impact on ourselves and others in communities and in countries. And the Peace Corps volunteer experience has changed over 6 decades, but its core impact is largely the same. Trust and respect are always stronger than iPhones and social media, and that's what it holds our core together. And finally, what I learned in writing this, I knew it already, but I could finally say it. Peace Corps is the core of who we can be as Americans living in a global community environment. And we can stand proud for all that we have done and what Peace Corps has given us and what we have given Peace Corps.
Jody, I found one of the powerful things in your book is how your whole life was ready to do academia. That's where you were headed. Got the PhD, you're going to do academia, can't wait to do it. It's just in your DNA. And then you do the Peace Corps. And then you do something else, and then you do the Peace Corps. And then you come back to Peace Corps. I think 3 times until the time that you were actually the director, because you recognize this, I think everybody on this whole entire call feels, is that it changes your life.
Yeah,
Back to what we talk about in the podcast, how did Peace Corps change your life in a way that helped shape the person that you are today and the leader and the employee even that you are today, or anything, mother, anything that you are has been shaped by this really quite extraordinary experience that we hope we can offer for a long time to come. Jody, any final words before we begin to wrap up?
Stay strong. Stay with what we believe. We have values, we have beliefs, we have a mission. We can do it in tiny pieces and in larger pieces. And right now, it might be even in the tiny pieces, the pieces with the neighborhood, the pieces that we give to support each other, the ways that we can help each other, particularly as women, and to find what gives us joy, the tiny pieces that give us joy. And it's always, for me, it's reaching out, being part of somebody else's life to help make both of our lives better. And you read and you get discouraged, but find that joy of service so that we don't get caught up in negativity. And I try to do this every single day. Find that moment of joy that's really part of helping other people's lives, wherever that might be and however that might be, and continue to express our values, our mission, and our purpose as strong women.
Jody, that is a wonderful, what do I want to say, background for us to say, stay with us in Women of Peace Corps Legacy. We are stronger as a group of women when we're together, and we are going to spend this whole next year figuring out how we can connect and hold each other up, whether that's mentoring or getting together for a happy hour or coming to the awards ceremony or all the things that we do collectively. We are going to be stronger through this particular year if we come together and share our thoughts and our caring, as you just suggested, Jody. So that was a perfect ending for us as we begin to wrap up this hour-long annual meeting. I'm going to turn it back over to Letitia. She's going to give us a little bit of the future, and then please stay on. We're going to play the podcast video, which will give you an idea of what the podcast is about. Jody, thank you so much. We appreciate all your inspirational words.
And thank you, Corey, but thank you, everybody here. We are a team, and we will remain a team. And any strength I have is because of the strength you have, and we give it to each other.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all those beautiful nuggets. I was just mentally, downloading everything you said in my mind. But you have really good, really nice remarks in the chat for you to read of people thanking you for what you do. All right. Well, we are at the end of our event today, but before we leave, we definitely want you to be aware of some of our upcoming events. As I mentioned at the top of the hour, we are bringing back meet and greets in person, and we'll also have hybrid options, but we're still in the planning process. But please, please, please look out for emails, follow us on social media. Also, check our website as well to see up and coming events. Also, please keep in mind that we have an event coming up this July 18th through the 21st, the Reimagining National Service, the Peace Corps Connect, building bridges at home and abroad. And Women of Peace Corps Legacy will be represented there. And then this October, we have the Women and Girls Win. Nominations open up February 15th, which is in a couple of days. So please go and nominate. We have the Deborah Hardin Women's Achievement Award and the Kate Rafferty Emerging Leader Award. And again, please, please stay in touch with us so you can have all of the information for our upcoming events. And again, yes, I want to just thank everyone for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your dedication for Women of Peace Corps Legacy, and we look forward to an amazing year ahead. To close out, we do have a video presentation. So we would like for you to stay, and you can trickle out as the video is played if you would like. But please remember to check us out at www.womenofpeacecorpslegacy.gov. .com, and also you can email us at womenofpeacecorpslegacy@gmail.com. For any reason, we want you all to be involved. So it's really good to see you all, and yes, happy Valentine's Day. All right, for our video.
Other human being. And I think that's true in business, it's true in family, it's true in service, it's true in life. Through relationships, we are changed and we are able to influence. Through relationships, we solve problems. Through relationships of trust, if we're working together, and I'm underscore together, we can overcome anything.
People need to be involved in their own decision making about their own futures. You know, there's a phrase we use here in human services: nothing about us without us. So if we're working with young people, then young people need to be involved. If we're solving issues related to aging, we have to consult with the aging. We cannot assume that we know what is best for people. We really have to be humble, be really good listeners, and work to bring up the voice of people with the lived experience.
I did learn as a younger woman that building a network of people that were either young women like myself breaking into their careers or who were in international development was very important for me. That support allowed me to be braver, to take more risks, and to feel more confident in my ability to advance my career.
You can make a change right where you are. And that is kind of why Peace Corps spoke to me, right? It was like, how do you start helping right now? So as a young, person right out of law school, I didn't want to wait, 12 years before I can make a difference. I wanted to do something right then that would change lives, some life, one life, anybody's life.
And so my leadership is really about bringing out the best in me and the best in others. And it's always toward a common goal that helps make the world a better place.
So I would have to say it was Peace Corps and Peace Corps leadership that really made me pursue the career I ended up pursuing.
One of the things that people need to recognize is that trafficking can happen anywhere. The other thing about human trafficking is I think frequently people think of human traffickers in the situation in the way that media portrays it, that it's some evil boogeyman who's obviously and very easily identified. But in reality, traffickers blend much more into society. It's much harder to identify. They don't walk around with a big sign saying, I'm an abuser or I exploit people.
If you want to make a difference in the world through your career, know what your strengths are, know what your passion is, and then find where you can bloom. And that's where you want to focus your energy.
We are the messenger of what Peace Corps is and can be. We pay it forward by joining. We gain so much from the experience. Then we pay it back by inspiring the next generations of volunteers.
Peace Corps is an incredible way to help us all be in a position that I think human beings can be. I don't care whether you're a liberal or conservative or tall or short or fat or thin. I mean, just having an appreciation of how we can benefit from differences rather than being fearful of differences. And to me, Peace Corps is one of the ways it allows that to occur, and it's fabulous.
I have great hope in the future because I think women are strong and now have learned a lot of lessons on how to operate, and we see them in more and more in top positions, and things will keep changing. I am absolutely convinced. Look at the changes in the last 20 or 30 years.
All righty. Have a great evening. Take care. Stay in touch.